Greetings, gamer guys and gals. I'm Zeake, welcoming you to the 35th part of my Let's Play Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Let us begin today. In a valley amidst the Marhaut Range, Ike and company are reunited with King Kanagas of Gallia. King Tibarn of Phoenicia also arrives and brings with him a disturbing tale. His words serve notice. There is no time to waste. The final showdown with Ashnard is coming. Between the forces King Kanagas grants them before returning home, and the soldiers King Tibarn brings, the Crimean army possesses 3 times the fighting power that it did when it left Begnion. Even so, the Daein forces encamped in the capital are strong, rested, and comparable in number. In addition, the road to the final confrontation is blocked by 2 formidable obstacles: Fort Pinell and Nados Castle. How these 2 tests are faced will mightily affect the course of the war. Chapter 26, Clash. Crimea Castle. I see. So Crimea and Gallia have finally joined forces, have they? Half-breeds and humans fighting side by side. How sweet. In addition, it seems the incident with the Huron princess has brought more Phoenicians to the struggle as well. Oh, the Hawk King is getting involved, eh? Which means that the Crimean army's strength of arms is all but equal to our own, and growing daily. Of course, this pathetic, ragged band is still no match for our superior leadership and skill. Things are getting interesting, are they not? But I am still unsatisfied. Divide our army into battalions, and send one to meet the Crimeans. And who will be in charge of that battalion? Bertram. Bertram? Does that bother you? Well then, perhaps I should leave it to you and see what happens. Do you believe I would betray you? I believe your heart has considered it. Surely you jest. I will divide our forces and see that they march to meet Crimea under Bertram's command. Is that satisfactory? I leave it to you, good Sir Knight. One other thing, Your Majesty. In my absence, did you order the death of Ina? 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 Oh, yes, her. I'd forgotten about that one. I lost all interest in her when she failed to hold Daein's capital, you know. I've no use for failures. Yes, I remember it now. I ordered General Petrine to take care of her. Ha! Another failure under my command. I told Petrine that if the task was beyond her, capturing Ina would be enough. I see. Why do you ask? According to one of General Petrine's men, they have indeed captured Ina. But with the general's death, they are unsure what to do with her. That was one of Petrine's better qualities. She always did follow orders. Well, what do you intend to do? I wish to receive your instructions. Do you still wish to see her killed, or have you changed your mind? Do as you will, I care not. However, do not bring her into my presence. When that one is near, Radiance seems to grow restless. As you wish. Everyone seems to be here. Go ahead, Soren. You can begin now. Very well. Please look at this map. The current position of our army is here in the Marhaut Range. Between us and the capital, there are 2 large outposts of enemy troops, Fort Pinell and Nados Castle. Both holds were built to guardian our fair land. But now Daein rules them both, and knows of us. With rations set, they could hold out a year. Say what you will of Daein and her foul plans, one must admire her skill in things of war. Come now, Bastion, Why would you praise our foe? I do but speak the mean of it, good sir. The truth is harsh, but lies would be worse still. Absolutely agreed, Bastion. Will you two please shut up, please? Sheesh. Pinell and Nados are fairly close to one another. I doubt they would expect us to attack both at once, but that seems to be a waste of our strength, and we don't want to get ambushed from the rear while attacking. We cannot divide our army, but we could send a small force to attack the base with weaker defenses and keep it occupied. At the same time, the main army can focus on the other one and conquer it. I see. So which one has more soldiers? That would be Fort Pinell. Very well, then the main army will lead an assault on Fort Pinell. Meanwhile, I'll take an army and a unit or so of galleons and set out for Castle Nados. We'll launch an attack, and when they come out to meet us, we'll retreat. Then we'll attack again. It will keep them busy. That should give us the time we need. We'll take care of our front by day's end. Let's go capture a fort. It's settled then. Ike, I'd like to report the results of our last battle. 0 gold earned, and we sure are spending. We've got quite a bit left. I mean, we're going to be saving some for some special items here and there and whatnot, but, you know, say okay. New ally Largo. Interesting. Only Berserker in this game. Isn't it unfortunate? And MVP Ike. Not surprising, especially since we're trying our hardest to get Ike decently leveled up. Right now, he's pretty much set for the 2 fights he has later on that are basically by himself. However, I will say that the better Ike, the better time that is. So we're going to continue using him as best as we can and leveling him up as best as we can. Alright, back to it. There were no deaths and no injuries beyond our capabilities to heal. Everyone performed exceedingly well. That is all. By your leave, I will excuse myself. Soren does say this an awful lot, but that's only because we're doing so very well, and we're recruiting everybody we can, and we're also not letting anybody die. But his actual statements here do change based on the reality of war, and if you lose units, and so on and so forth. Back at base. General, may I have a moment of your time? Yes, what is it? I'd like your advice on something, sir. Let's say I was faced with an undefeatable enemy. In that case, what should I do, as the weaker fighter? Should I try to avoid slowing down other better fighters and retreat? Or do I sacrifice myself and try to at least land a single blow on the opponent? If it's an enemy general, or just someone that's far too strong for you, there's no need to get yourself killed. But I don't want you to simply run away, either. Study the enemy first, and see if retreating is your only option. I'd like you to do that much, at least. Study the enemy. That's right. What type of fighter is he? What kind of weapon is he using? Things like that. See, okay, I'm going to have to stop this right here so we can discuss something real quick. The grammatically correct way to refer to an individual or a group without knowing the individual or group is in the masculine, in English, regardless of whether or not that is liked by everybody. That's grammatically correct. I don't care about your political correctness. And Ike in this moment is actually using the correct grammar. He is saying what type of fighter is he? What kind of weapon is he using? And things like that. So on and so forth. This is correct. So why is it that in earlier parts of this game, Ike jumps around the grammatical correct way of saying things so that he can be politically correct about certain things he says? I don't get this. It's sort of like the whole instance with Soth that we went over, and how that Soth was recruited and said, oh, you know, I'm looking for someone. And Ike says, they. You never refer to a single individual as they. It is always he, unless you know the gender of that individual, in which case you use the proper term, he or she. That is how grammar works in English. And obviously I'm not teaching an English class here, but it's something that really bothers me as we move further and further into the future with video games and media, trying to be more politically correct and trying to suit people that we shouldn't be suiting, rather than being grammatically correct and, I don't know, correct in general. I just thought I'd bring that up, because it's really odd that they're going to basically back out on trying to be more politically correct on certain instances so that they can be grammatically correct here. It's just weird. It's just honestly weird, because there is no instance in any of this conversation where this soldier is coming up to Ike and saying, this general is definitely a man. None. But they're still using the grammatically correct way to approach this situation. It's so weird. If you can learn to do that, you can determine how best to engage your opponent. Those are the very core of combat fundamentals, aren't they? Oh, I'm a darn fool. It could be. I think all my trouble started because I wasn't paying enough attention to the basics. You've given me something to think about, and some hope, too. Thank you, sir. You're the smartest general ever. Huh? What a brave little fella. I don't think I would call a grown fighting man, a professional soldier, a little fella. I mean, Ike is a teenager. Stupid. Are you leaving now? Yep, we're going to do some reconnaissance and tease those Daeins a bit. Good luck. Pah, you don't need luck when you're as tough as me. Tibarn, about... Rayson, no. I truly am sorry. Leanne's kidnapping is completely my fault. It's not your fault. Please don't apologize. I know Leanne is alive. These battlefields are filled with chaotic energy, but I can still sense her. It's faint, but I know it's Leanne. Which is all the more reason for us to hurry. There may be other ways to finish this, but crushing Daein is the surest. Agreed. Rayson, is this mysterious power that you use to sense Leanne something only Hurons possess? It's not something any of the Hawk clans have. That is a certainty. That's not true, Tibarn. The power may differ in potency between us, but all Legus possess it to some degree. Ah, so it's just that my sense isn't developed, is that it? The power is distributed something like this. Among the bird tribes, it's very strong, in the Huron clan. Among the beast tribes, I've heard it's most developed in the cat clan, though not as strongly as in the Hurons. As for the dragon tribes, it's said they may be equal to, or even surpass, the strength of the Hurons. Even though I knew that all Legus were not alike, there are even more differences than I'd imagined. Yeah, true examples of real race. Your eyes should have told you that. Once we change, we don't look alike, do we? Good point. Enough pleasantries. It's time for me and my men to take wing. Right. See you later, then. Tibarn, may the fortunes of war be with you. And you as well. Don't try anything too dangerous. Rayson? My apologies, Ike. Though I knew this was coming, it's still difficult. Don't apologize. You've nothing left to prove to me. Ah. Nice little conversation there. Actually, you know what's interesting about the info with the soldier is that it kind of doesn't apply for this next map. It actually applies for the map following, I believe. I believe they're hinting at the solo fight that you fight with Ike and a specific general, where only Ike can harm this man, and it's just Ike and this man fighting primarily. So, you know, assess the situation. If your Ike's not strong enough, leave. I think that's the point. But I don't know exactly, because when I think of Clash and the boss you fight and the army you fight, it definitely doesn't seem like that Intelligent Systems is using that statement to say, hey, look, you know what? This is the map we're talking about. I think it's just foreshadowing for later on. Alright, Boyd, Titania. See, I want Boyd and Miss to be A rank. Why are they taking so long? Volk Bastion. We've got some interesting things to do, but let's see. Yeah, we have Nihil. I don't think we're going to be using that, honestly. And we do have a bunch of bonus experience points that we are going to be using this chapter. However, we're going to be using them in a few, not at this exact moment. Let's go ahead and outfit first, see what we need. This is kind of like a long haul chapter, so we might want to get rid of this, give her a silver sword. Oh, wow, he cannot use a silver axe? Are you serious right now? I guess we have been working on bows, but I didn't think we were working on bows enough for that, you know, to be a serious issue. Let's go ahead and forge a steel axe. Yep, we'll do that. And we'll call it... We're going to call it the Messer. Why? Because we're about to make a mess with this battlefield. Alright, let's make it green for our resident Boyd here. So now he has 2 forges. I think that's fine. Alright, so we can get rid of this physic, that. We're going to want a stiletto on him, because we are going to be using up that one. I honestly think that a physic on Soren here would be great, but we also kind of want a full-use Elf Thunder. Yeah. We're probably going to be hammerning that Sonic Sword this chapter. Maybe even the Ashira Staff, so that's an interesting thought. Alright, so we're going to get rid of one of these heavy spears. She can use a silver lance. Yeah, let's give her a silver lance. I was going to give her a silver axe, but we actually have more people who can use axes than lances, I believe. I mean, it really doesn't matter either way. It's not like we can't buy more. Let's... I want to say this is outfitted enough. Maybe we can get rid of the long sword. Maybe take like a silver blade. Oh yeah, you know what? He needs some more weaponry. Let's give him a brave lance. Do I want to do that though? I kind of... Huh. We could give him a killer bow. Yeah, why not? Alright, so she needs a silver lance. Titania looks okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. Alright, let's go ahead and move on. My Lord Ike. Princess Alencia? Huh? What's going on? Why are you dressed like that? I thought to join you on the battle lines. Is that a Pegasus? Where did you get that? He belonged to my great-grandmother. I'm a bit nervous about riding him, but I'm going to try nevertheless. I appreciate your desire, but your retainers will never allow it, will they? As for that... Did you agree to this, Joffrey? No, personally. I'm against it, but she is the princess, and it is her wish. I can do nothing. The princess's great-grandmother was a Begnion Pegasus knight of some renown before marrying into House Crimea. Princess Alencia herself is skilled at both riding and swordsmanship. As a child, she was granted permission to train in case the need for her to fight ever arose. Behold the Pegasus and uniform, all treasures of our House Crimea fair. We did fear much that we would never see a chance to use them in their proper stead. Oh, Muse of Fire, I cannot find the words. Behold, a light that dares to shame the sun. Our princess, clad in raiments fair and fine, gives courage, love, and vigor to our cause. I'm surprised you were able to hide armor and a flying horse from the Daein Army. Prince Renning foresaw a time when the princess would need them, and bade us convey them from the palace. Prince Renning's thoughts were always of the princess, even as his life abandoned him. Be true to your heart and live life as it dictates. Those were his final words to her. My lord uncle was always the one person who understood me best. Even though I'm dressed like this, I have no experience and do not expect to fight as well as the rest of you. But this constant waiting behind and doing nothing, it sets my heart beating with such unease I fear it may burst. Even if I cannot fight, I could use a staff to heal the wounded. If I could save just one soldier, it would mean so much to me. Please, my Lord Ike, I promise to obey orders and stay out of harm's way as best I can. Lord Ike, we will take responsibility and guard the princess. It is her heartfelt wish. This is not something that I can allow or disallow. She is my employer. If this is what the princess wants, all I can do is comply. Be careful, will you? Oh, thank you so much. Let us go forth like sunlight to the dawn. Alencia fights and Crimea wins the day. Fort Pinell. Ike, there are more enemy soldiers than we expected. Just from what I can see now, they are double our numbers. And we must assume that the fort houses many more troops. This may prove to be a long battle. Even if they have 20 times our numbers, we must overcome them. In this war, there can be no retreat. And we are here. Interestingly enough, the reason why I didn't use the bonus experience points right away is because we actually have to enter the battle and then go back, return to base before we can use the bonus experience points on Alencia, which is exactly what we're going to be doing here. And we're going to be giving her all of her levels. Alright, let us begin with the levels, shall we? Interesting. I don't think that was very well or very good, but you know what? Actually, before we do this, I need to check something. Tironio has the Night Ward. Yeah, I didn't think she could use it. I just wanted to make sure, because if she could use it, then we could give it to her and she could get the, the bonus levels to her speed. I don't think she'll need them. I mean, she's got 19 levels to grow, and she's got very good growth rates. They're not the best in the game, but they're definitely not the worst. And another interesting thought is that Princess Alencia is also technically in her second class. So technically her base stats are actually pretty bad for her being a level 1 in second class. However, I do believe her base stats are actually better than a level 10 promoted Mist, even on fixed mode. So there's still that. I mean, you can't totally discount her just because she is not as good as some level 20 promoted and then regaining level 20 class units. So, and because of her growth rates and because her bases are pretty decent, she's basically guaranteed to get what she needs concerning level ups. She doesn't really need strength. She wouldn't mind having defense and HP. What she really needs is magic and skill and speed. She is another unit who is totally capable of using the magical swords in this game, and quite well. She only has, I believe, one maximum magic less than Mist. So you could still use her quite well for that. The only thing is, though, is that we're not going to be doing that with her. And partially the reason why that is because she already has a decent sword. And though the magic sword would do far more and far better for her, we only get one sonic sword in the game. And you know, passing it around. We could just say, you know what, Mist, you're no longer going to use it. Because we do happen to get one other magical sword. And I am considering allowing that magic sword to be our third hammer in use. It depends on exactly what we do, and where we go, and what we have, so we shall see. But she's getting pretty fair levels. The only problem is I don't think she's going to max strength. I really don't. I also don't think we're going to have enough experience points to give her to her max level, so that's not really going to matter right now at this moment anyhow. But as you can see, I mean, she's level 14. She's already got bases very comparable to the rest of our units. So there's that. It would be cool, though. I would say this, that even though she does have a pretty decent sword, and it will still be handy, it is physical, it would actually be kind of cool if we could give her a magic sword just because of the potential that she would have, you know, the potential damage. The only problem is her weapon ranks, and we shall see them right after we check this out. Finish up giving her bonus experience points. We're going to give her all of it, as much as we can. And I believe she'll be maxing out magic this level up. Yep. I believe that's her max. Yes, it is. I think we might be able to get her to like 16 strength, and that's going to be her max. The only unfortunate thing is that we don't have enough experience points to give her that, so we might just end up dumping that experience points. Well, part of it on Ike. We do want to get Ike more levels, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, it's worth repeating. The better our Ike, the better his chances of surviving and doing good in the fights that he has for himself. So, we do want to be mindful of that. We could give Tironio a level here, but he doesn't really need it. I'm thinking what we do is we just give her the rest of our experience points here. Interestingly enough, she starts with an A rank in staves and a D rank in swords. It is pretty unviable to get her to the point where she can use either of the magic swords without arm scrolls or without giving her a lot of battle experience points in this and the upcoming chapters, so we're not really going to worry about that right now. She's got a infinite use brave sword. This weapon is pretty darn cool. I mean, pretty darn cool. It allows her to strike twice per turn. It's got 9 might, 75 hit, 12 weight, which is totally pointless because we do now have 15 strength, so she's not going to be mitigated by that at all, which is pretty great. And her stats are fantastic. Even as a base unit, Alencia is still useful, especially if you're not playing like the Japanese exclusive Maniac mode. She's got power, she's got the magic, she's got the things that you need her to have. Another interesting thought is that we actually don't have to use the Spirit Dust on her, which I was thinking we might have to. And now that I know we don't, that's pretty great, to be honest. Soren. We don't need him to be to an A rank staff user because we already have an S rank and Alencia joins at A rank. So what we could do is give Alencia the Hermern, allow her to make use of that. I think what we want to do with Soren here... Yeah, he's got a D rank in Thunder. I have serious doubts that he is going to be... serious doubts he's going to be able to get to an S rank. Even if we had more arm scrolls, which I do believe we get another one. So we do have 2, possibly. you know, a potential second one. So we might have enough to get him to, if he has a C rank, we might have enough to get him to A rank, which would allow him to at least use Thoron. Thoron's a pretty good spell, you know, so there's that. We're just probably not going to be able to get him to the best Thunder Tome. It really doesn't matter. It's not an absolute necessity. I do not really care either way. It's just a thought. It's something that we could use to benefit him. But, you know, I was potentially going to use Largo as like an auxiliary unit and give him some of our bonus experience points. But I underestimated how much bonus experience points we were going to have to use on Alencia. I could have given her less levels because, I mean, we did just take her from level 1 to 18. So, yeah, I mean, I could have given her less levels, but I really think that it's bonus experience points well spent is bonus experience points given to units like Mist and Alencia, who really have pretty terrible combat utility, especially Mist in the early game. I mean, obviously, she starts out as a cleric. She has no weapons. She has no ability to fight until she promotes. So I think Mist is potentially the best candidate of bonus experience points in this entire game. But when it comes to the late game, I think Alencia is probably the best because of just what she gives, you know, indicatively to her combat. See, if we get her to 16 strength, which I'm pretty sure we will, at least 16, we might 17, we can give her an energy drop. I do believe we get one more. And that will bump her up, you know, another 2. So hopefully we get to 17, because that would get her to 19. The more strength she has, the better, because, you know, 15 strength is not that great. She's not going to be someone we have, like, on the front lines just absolutely wrecking, you know, enemies. That's not the reason why we gave her the bonus experience points. We gave her the bonus experience points so that she can survive, so that she's more powerful, so that she's more capable, so that she can do more and be more reliable at what she's doing. Because, as we saw, and if you were paying any kind of attention to her stats when she first joined, she only has 9 strength. That's pretty terrible. I mean, aside from mages, bishops, sages, she's basically not going to have a good time fighting any unit. But for the time being, I think that we use that well. We just need to give her Vulnerary and an Elixir. Very good use of items there. And I think... Now, I'm not sure about this, because I just don't know if we're going to be doing... I mean, we do have Soren. We could give Soren the Spirit Dust, but I think he's going to cap. Mist is capped. I'm honestly, seriously considering giving that Spirit Dust to Tyronio, because it's likely that he's going to get one more magic before he is finished in his levels. And the cool thing about that is we could actually give him the Flame Lance, and it's actually going to be useful in an upcoming chapter. I don't think it's useful now, particularly in this chapter, but we'll definitely see. All right. Now we can move on. Okay, so we're definitely not bringing any of you. More than Mordecai would be a pretty good idea, but the only problem is, though, is that I'm pretty sure we have like a Meteor Sage here. I don't think he's going to be that big of a deal because we're not going to have Morim and Mordecai go that direction. But yeah, we have quite a bit of enemies to deal with. And what we see on the map is definitely not the whole of it, that's for sure. Do we have any sleeps? Or, let's see. Where's Ryson? We do have 3 sleeps left. Since that's the case, Mist, Alencia. What we could do I'm thinking what we should do here is that we should actually give the sleep staff over to Alencia. Let's go ahead and reposition. Yeah, he's got 18 resistance. Depending on how close we are, we should be able to sleep him. And then we should be able to steal both his sleep and physics staff, which would be nice. We also want to steal this guy's physics staff. I think that's all we really want to steal. Let's, you know, actually, I don't know if you can steal from this boss or not. There's nothing that says you can't, but if we can, we're stealing that spear. For sure. That's what I want to do. Because then we'll be able to get his spear and his rune sword, which, by the way, happens to be the other magical sword in this game, and it's quite powerful. A magic sword that restores HP to the wielder in the amount of half of the damage it inflicts. This is powerful. It's not only high might with mist, or I mean, if Alencia could use it, which she's not going to, but with mist, once we get her A rank swords, which I believe are pretty close, she would have 41 might with this as a magic sword. I don't understand, if I was being honest. I just don't understand why people think of Mist using the Sonic Sword and Rune Sword as like a major joke. Because, I mean, this is awesome. It's powerful. Even he makes good use of it. He has 17 magic. He's not going to make as good a use of it as we would, but he still makes good use of it. Hopefully we can get to A rank sword this chapter with Mist. I don't know how close she is, because unfortunately this game does not have weapon experience bars that will tell you like how close you are, which I do hope is one of those, you know, quality of life improvements that comes to this game for sure. Alright, so now we just have to reposition and get everybody ready for this lovely assault on Fort Pinell. Let's see. What we want to do here is we want to make sure that all of our units are within... Yeah, I think we want Racing here. Yeah, we're going to be doing some smite strategies with Morim and Mordecai. That's actually the only reason why we're bringing them. Which one is more in danger here? Well, it's definitely Mordecai. That was kind of a silly question, wasn't it? Either way, we're going to go ahead and give Mordecai the Demi-Band. He's not going to be seeing any combat, and neither is Morim, but, you know, it would be better if he had some pretty decent stats to rely on rather than, you know, what he has. Okay, I think we're pretty well set. Hopefully, very hopefully, we can get that that spear. The only issue that I'm having here, I mean, Mordecai and Morim will have to be our kind of like moving convoy of units. We're going to have to give over the two physics and the sleep staff to them so that we have space on Volk, because we're not going to have space on Volk otherwise. But I think that's pretty good. I think we're ready and set for the map. All right, let us begin. General Bertram, the Crimean army has risen to the bait. Orders, sir? Your orders, sir? General, how shall we make answer? Turn the ground soft with blood. Make a graveyard of this place. Bury them all. Yes, sir. Soren, do you have any information on the enemy, General? Our intelligence reports say the commander of this army is Bertram, one of Daein's 4 riders. One of the 4 riders? So he's on par with that woman we fought earlier, General Patrine? That's not necessarily so. The name 4 riders is given to the 4 persons of highest ability among the king's advisors. So the members can change, is that it? Who are the current 4 riders? First, there was General Petrine, whom we defeated at Riven Bridge. Then the man we face today, General Bertram. Next is General Bryce, who served the previous king. And finally, the enigmatic general known as the Black Knight. Those are the 4. This is the same Black Knight who murdered Commander Grail. Of that, there appears to be little doubt. Tell us, Soren, do you have any more information on General Bertram? I know not where he hails from. He appeared after the fall of Crimea and has quickly gained Ashnard's favor. So he's a man of no mean ability. Like the Black Knight, he always wears his armor and never shows his face unhelmed. Some say he's not even in his armor, but that it's inhabited by an ancient specter or a demonic creature. It's all just superstition and rumor designed to heighten fear of the man. It's not important. Once we cross swords, we'll know the truth. Then we can discover for ourselves if he's just a loudmouth braggart or truly a monster. As long as our blades can wound him, I care not either way. Let's go! Interesting that Ike says that, as long as our blades can wound him. Alright, so we're going to be moving everybody to the left. There is virtually no point in going upward, in my humble opinion. So we're just going to move to the left. We do have to be kind of careful, though, about all of these guys up here. I mean, they're not going to pose much of an issue the first couple of turns, because we'll be able to fight them from behind like stragglers and whatnot. Let's see. This guy has a steel bow, longbow. Yeah, this guy has a killer axe. I think it's okay to leave Mia there. Yeah, we're just going to have to deal with it. One thing we could do... Wow. Soren almost one-shots that guy. He actually doubles this guy with the hammer. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, Blizzard only weighs 10. It's the lightest of the long-range tomes. Which isn't saying much. The long-range tomes are pretty bad in this game, to be honest. You know, let's actually go ahead and smite you right now. Let's be very careful of these guys here. Smite you. Yeah, we want to be careful of all of the enemy unit placements because we want Rayson to be to end up in a place where he's not going to be affected by the enemies around us. So let's go ahead and ping everybody. Yeah, so we're going to have Rayson end up here. Not necessarily, we don't necessarily have to have him end there. We could just, you know, block off the space, but... well, actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We're going to block off the space. Now, we do not want Titania to fight the Killer Axe guy. Let's go ahead and leave that for... Well, we might want to have an axe for this one. Yeah, let's go ahead and leave that for Mia. I think that would be the most appropriate course of action. Killer Lance, I guess. Yeah, we do have the Ashira staff. If we can move Valencia closer, well, way up there. It's so weird that the Ashira staff can be used, even though I don't think anybody can actually benefit from it right now. I don't really understand the point. Yeah, Killing Edge guy. Let's. Oh, ooh, we adepted. Very nice. I wasn't expecting that. I was just wanting to weaken him. But hey, you know, we take those. Alright, we have one use of Blizzard left. That's fine. We've more than made up for everything we need here. Yeah, I think that's about right. End our turn and let the enemies come to us and fight us on our terms, shall we? Ah, very nice crit. I do like the lance critical animations for the paladins in this game. It's pretty cool. Nice little spin. Like Ooze Axe, we don't need it. For right now, that is. And attacking Tyronio while he holds his royalty. Ooh. Ooh. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea. It's actually kind of funny because I believe the Jug Draw games are the only games in the series where the enemies will not attack you if you have way too much defense, or if you're doing way too much damage to them, or if they're doing no damage to you. Like, and I think that's a pretty interesting dynamic there, instead of just having the enemies suicide on your units. I'm not particularly going to complain about it, because enemy phase tanking would be such a much more difficult thing to do if you purposely had to have units out there that are going to take damage and will take damage. So, I don't know, there's probably pros and cons to it throughout the discussion. Like, do you want enemies to be stupid and be able to, you know, go through enemy phasing and fighting as many units as possible? Or do you want them to be smart and kind of have to be more player phase focused in your gameplay? So there's that. 1 health left. That's pretty good, actually, because Volk needs experience points. Oh, it was a good play hitting that guy with the Blizzard Tome. That was a very good play, because even though it didn't defeat him, oh, that got him moving. Man, that's so good. Didn't even think about that at all. Alright, so we can go ahead and finish this guy off here. Yep, and gone you are, Swords Master no more. I would not mind having a much higher leveled Volk, because the assassins in this game are just so much fun. Well, I should say the assassin, because there is only one. Alright, so one thing we could do, though, here... Yeah, I think this is worth it. You know, she doesn't need the experience points, but she does need the weapon level experience points. She hits like a magical truck. She really does. I love it. Okay, so who needs the experience points over here? Shinon would like it, but the only problem is that we don't want him way behind. These guys here, they've got like, well, I guess we can use the masked there. Move Ike up. I kind of didn't want Volk in the way. I guess what we could do... Well, it depends. It really depends. Because we don't want to be in the range of all of these enemies. We're not in the range of him. Yeah... I guess what we could do here is shove Volk out of the way. I just don't want Volk to get crit. I am so worried about that. I've had Volk crit or be crit so many times in this game. It's actually kind of ridiculous. So we could smite Rayson there and smite him again. This right here, what I'm doing right here, I mean, literally, Rayson moved 4 spaces and he didn't have to do a thing, was the reason why I decided not to give him the boots in the first place. But I kind of realized that I would want the boots and the ability to smite him. Because the boots on Ike, though it's useful because he is the unit that has to seize. So the faster you go with him, the faster you can get the maps done. But then again, like, Rayson can do that for Ike. He can do that for up to 4 people when he's transformed. So it's kind of like, I think it's personally a blunder. I should have did better for that. Alright, so move Soren. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and attack this guy here. Reason being is because he might end up running away and not coming to fight us, which would be fine. I would appreciate it personally. One thing we are going to do, though, is we are going to chant Turonio and get him just a little bit closer. Just a little bit. We still want to basically keep our formation. But, hey, you know, a little bit closer. Yeah, let's give him a javelin. Alright, so Oscar, we're going to go ahead and let Oscar take that KO. We're also going to give Titania a hand axe. Move Mia. Yeah, Despotic is still just raining tyrannical arrows they can't deal with. Don't you just love it? Hopefully, I did not calculate this, but hopefully we can move within range of Ike. Because he has no ranged weapon, and I'm pretty sure that all of the ranged units over here are going to attack Ike because of that. Because I am giving ranged weapons to everybody else. Yeah, and we can move within range, so that's exactly what we're going to do. Yeah, I think we'll actually move up here. Let's go ahead and equip that. Huh, you know. Alright, so Mist. How close is Mist to breaking? Yeah, she's got 5 more uses, so we gotta be very careful of that because we do want to earn it at, you know, so that we've used it as best as we can, basically. Now we do have to pay attention to these guys coming from behind now. And he goes ahead and attacks Turonio, probably due to provoke, I would say. The Knight Killer would be a bad weapon, even if it was effective against armored knights and cavalry. 2 times effectiveness is just not good enough. Now, this guy attacking Ike is kind of odd, because I mean, besides the fact that Ike's not doing great damage here, just because he is a general, he probably has next to 0 hit on Ike because of the support. I don't know if the AI keeps, you know, attention on that or whatnot, but I would hope that the AI would. Yeah, this is one thing I was kind of worried about, though. I didn't want that guy to move all the way, you know, all the way away. And his healing, but, you know, whatever. It doesn't really matter if we get physics with a couple of uses wasted. We're still getting free physics. But I do think that this would be a perfect time to go ahead and segue into a to-be-continued moment. If you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. You know, tell me what you think of everything so far and how it's going. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to oblige you with answers if I have them. But until next time, I'll see y'all later.